Hey Lizzie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Welcome to Oxen, Spain. Thanks for
Thank
interviewing.
you. No, thank you for having me.
Let's get started. So tell us about where you're from and where you are in Spain right now.
Okay, so I'm from originally from like near Scotland, right up north in England, but have lived in London for the last 2 years. I moved to Madrid in September. I'm living like right in the centre in Malasaña, which is like an amazing area. But I'm working kind of a little bit out of the center, like sort of in this like borough of Latina, but like sort of half an hour out. But yeah, really enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And talk to us about which program you came over to Spain with and what was that experience like in terms of
Mhm.
applying to the program and what kind of support did they lend you when you transitioned over here?
Mhm. So I came up with British Council. The application process itself, like, was very simple. I think I applied in January, or maybe February. I think it was sort of late January. And it was very simple. It was just an application form. You had to, I think, answer three questions. One about experience, one about kind of like your motivations of like for like while doing British Council, and then one was why you had to create a task for like children learning English as a foreign language, and then you submitted that, and there was no kind of interview process. It was just from that you were given then three options of like where to apply to. So Madrid for me was my first choice, and then you could apply to all over Spain, or anywhere in the world. But for me, it was Spain because it was, I think, the only one of the only ones that you didn't have to know a foreign language for. So yeah, I applied for Madrid, and then it was quite a long time to wait. We didn't hear back until I think June, that we're even being sort of considered for it. And then I think it was mid-June when I finally got my placement in Madrid. Um, and then from there on, it was fairly straightforward. We had the visa process, which was interesting. It was it was quite tricky. Like British Council were fantastic, really supportive. Like always had loads of sheets with all of the questions, very responsive to emails. So yeah, it took me maybe 2 months for the visa process in total. And then yeah, I as kind of what they said to us was effectively when we were placed in our schools, um, from then on, they didn't really have much to do with us like from that point forwards. We were kind of handed over to our schools. So in terms of settling into Madrid, settling into the school, like finding accommodation, like British Council had no part in that. That was entirely independent. It was sort of very much when you landed your school, you were on your own, which was like a bit daunting at first, but yeah, it worked out. It worked out really well, and they've been sort of supportive throughout the process. You can contact them with questions, and they're brilliant with getting back to you. So yeah, no, very good program. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. It's good to hear. And talk to us a little bit about Madrid. What have you been doing here? What do you enjoy about it?
I mean, there's so much. Like, I think Madrid is such an amazing city. I love kind of just the culture of just like it just feels very relaxed. Especially coming from London, like it's just a very different atmosphere and like culture towards just everything. Like it's just so much more relaxed over here. Like I love kind of living in my square, walking by, seeing everyone like sat in the sun, having drinks and like on like a Tuesday evening. It's just like a really lovely atmosphere. I love the people. I've met some really amazing people over here. Um, like one of my favorite things to do, I think, is go out to Sasdia, like do the like hiking in the mountains. I absolutely love doing it. So I think there's kind of just so much for like everyone in the city, which is like why I love it so much. And I think as well being in Spain, like I've done a lot of traveling, like Barcelona, Toledo, like all these like different like cities in Madrid. And I think it's sorry, in Spain. And I think Madrid is like such a perfect place to like be able to go out and do those things, like so kind of well, obviously so central. So yeah, no, absolutely love Madrid. I think it's an amazing city. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it too, especially coming from New York. I mean,
Yeah.
we've spoken about this, but the pace of New York, I imagine, is similar to London. So like
Yeah,
to be able to
just
come here and it's just a
yeah.
calmer
Yeah.
vibes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, and then I forgot, I meant to ask you, can you talk to us a little bit about like what's it like teaching in a school here?
Mhm.
Maybe like what's your day to day like
Mhm.
as an Aux?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so it's again like very relaxed. You sort of so I start work at 9. I arrive 5 minutes before 9, just to like settle in. And then I have in my school it's we have 3 hour long periods and then half an hour like playground, and then two 45-minute periods, and then I finish at 2. Um, each period I'm like in a different class. Sometimes I work with third and fourth grade, so sometimes third grade, sometimes fourth grade. Um, and yeah, like what I sort of do varies very much like day to day. Some days I just kind of check work, like go around supporting the children like in their activity books. Other days I'm leading the class. Other days I'm doing speaking exams or like marking. So like it's a really nice variation of different things. Obviously like with like language barriers because my Spanish is still not great. It's been like very useful for me. Like the teachers are all very supportive. Like they kind of are very helpful with if there is like a language barrier, like communication errors, like issues with the kids. Like they're very like on hand with that. Like it's very relaxed. And yeah, like there's a nice sort of level with, especially with like I think as Orcs is like they have expectations of us, but it's kind of also within the knowledge that like a lot of us aren't qualified teachers. A lot of us it's first times in education. So like they're very kind of understanding, which is yeah, really nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think also like I worked in a very intense school last year, so it's a very nice difference to my school last year. Like it's just more relaxed and yeah. But no, I'm really enjoying it.
Awesome. And then you know what, when you mentioned the language barrier, can I ask you a little bit about what that's been like? Because I don't know about your level of Spanish, but how has it been navigating kind of being in Madrid
Mhm.
when like you don't have too much Spanish or you've
Yeah.
only got a little bit of Spanish? What's that like?
Honestly, like I think when in terms of like living out here, that's the thing I've struggled the most with. Just it's I mean obviously like a lot of people here do speak like really good levels of English. So like it's not in terms of like communicating, that's usually okay. For me, like personally, um I am really desperate to be able to speak Spanish. And so I've sort of had lessons and like done a lot of practice with it. And like I've like progressed to the point where I can like communicate well, but not in sort of conversational. And that for me like was is like has been the biggest challenge that I've like really felt over here. Is language. Just for me personally, like really wanting to learn it. And it's I struggle with it. I think it's quite a hard language. So no, yeah, like it's been okay. Um, I think it's obviously the best way to learn Spanish is being out here, like being really like engrossed in it. Um, but yeah, like I think it's definitely something that I think especially early on, I should have probably pushed myself to do more. I was so caught up with visa and finding accommodation and starting work that I kind of didn't start learning until quite later on. And I really wish that I'd started it like before I came out and like kept it up all the way through. But yeah, I think it's the best way to learn is coming out and living out here. So yeah, it's been okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I lived in Madrid like 6 or 7 years ago, and
Mm,
like you could still find people who like spoke English,
yeah.
especially in like, in shops and restaurants and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah, being immersed in it is definitely the best way probably to learn any language that's not your
Yeah.
native language. So awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I have one last question for you, and that
Okay.
is, what is your favorite thing about Spain?
Um, I think honestly, my favorite thing about Spain, like, oh, it sounds very wide, but the culture. Like, I think it's like touched on it earlier, like just how relaxed it is, and just I think especially the different cultures, like in each different area of Spain, is just fascinating. Like, the culture in like Madrid is so different to the culture in Barcelona, and the foods and um, just everything. That's another thing. I love the food here. I'm a big foodie, and like obviously British food is not great. So like, it's amazing being out here. I love it. Um, but yeah, like the just everything about like the sort of culture of, like tapas, their work culture, um, the people are just so friendly. I was really surprised with just how friendly everyone is. It was just a really it always like especially Madrid feels like a very friendly city, and like a very safe city. And yeah, I've always felt like really at home here. Um, even though like home's like a very long way away. Like it's just yeah. No, I think it's just such a yeah. Again, there's nothing like one thing specifically I can put my finger on. It's just like the culture as a whole. I just really in love with yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think I know culture is broad, but yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you. It's everything
Yeah.
about it, right? Because it just all adds
Hmm.
up, right? It's not just like one aspect of
Yeah.
culture, but
A
it's
hundred
everything.
percent. 100%. And it's like how they sort of finish work earlier and they go and like sit in squares and chat and like oh, I just think it's just really lovely. Like it's yeah,
Yeah.
very different to the kind of you work until you and then you go home and then you sleep that we have like at home. Like the sort of weekend culture. Like in London we have the weekends, which are great, but it's here like it feels like the weekend like all week round. Like even when you finish work, like you go out and you see people, and it's just lovely. Yeah,
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 even the biggest thing for me is like dinner. So last night, for example,
yeah,
it was Sunday night, and I had dinner with some friends who were visiting from out of town. We were there for 4 hours. Like, that would
yeah,
never happen in New York.
yeah,
That would never ever happen. They'd like kick you out within an hour and
yeah.
a half. As soon as you
Oh,
like finish your
100%,
dessert, you're like, all right, they're like, get out. But
a hundred
here in
percent. Yeah,
Spain, they're just like, enjoy yourself, just relax. And yeah,
yeah,
that's one of my favorite things. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's amazing. But like, oh, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks, Lizzie. I
no
really appreciate
worries,
your input and sharing your experience.
no worries, absolutely fine. No, thank you for having me. It was lovely to talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.